Okay,
It's great.
so can you guys introduce yourself to the world, to me right now?
Yep. Hello, I'm Alan. This is Steven. Say hi, Steven.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steven.
We are called Joan. We are a band from Little Rock, Arkansas, in the United States, and we make music.
Okay, Stephen, Alan, this is me, Jazz Permana. Hello, this is the first time we've been talking, and also because you guys mentioned that you guys came from Little Rock, Arkansas, I want you guys to describe how it feels to be living in Arkansas because it seems like it's so far away from me here in Bandung, Indonesia. I always wanted to know, like how it feels to be there, like the weather and
Okay,
everything
Mm,
in between. Can you like describe how it feels to be there?
sure. Let me describe it for you. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. this morning to go on a
Okay.
run.
All right.
It was 95 degrees Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. Okay.
Humidity,
yes.
uh, humidity 100%. That was at 5:30 this morning.
Okay.
It hit 105 degrees today. We're in Little Rock.
All right.
It's so hot, and and I don't want to go outside.
Yeah, true.
Okay, okay. So I guess pretty much the weather is pretty much the same like here in
There you
Indonesia.
go.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
it's
as
pretty
different as you thought it was.
yeah, because it's been pretty hot here in Bandung as well for over a few months, this past few months, and I don't really want to go outside because
Yeah, I
it's
see
really
there.
hot. So I guess it's pretty much the same because I always assume, like Arkansas would be like a very, like cold city compared to, I guess, in a very tropical nation like in Indonesia. So I guess
Hmm.
Right, right.
it's in the middle of
Well,
the
it
Yeah.
summer as well. What?
yeah, it can get cold. Like Arkansas is weird because we'll have like a great fall. It
Yeah.
just normally like autumn, fall here starts in autumn, or sorry,
Okay.
in August.
Okay.
But like this year, it probably won't get cold until like December,
November.
and maybe
Yeah.
maybe even then, yeah, it won't be like so. It may freeze for like a few days, but then the
Ah,
rest
I
of the year is
see.
like like spring and fall. True spring and fall is like 70s, 60s, and 70s, and that's like mwah, the best time of the year here for sure.
Oh,
But right
okay. So,
now it's not that. It's hot.
Is is
so
bad.
by the time you guys get to into spring, it will be the best like season in your life, I guess, right? I would assume.
Yeah. Yeah, we will be
Yep.
happy people again. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So as the weather and the flower blooms, your moods and feelings also blooms, I guess. I would say
Wow.
Absolutely.
as an Arkansas,
Yeah.
citizen. Okay, 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 okay. I get it, I get it. We'll be talking a little bit about your music. I've been digging some stuff about your stuff, and one thing I noticed is that you guys started doing your music, especially in the early years of your career. It almost like most of the music sounded like songs from the 80s, but then it moves. There's some kind of a transition between the 80s to a more 2000 sound. Like, are there some kind of reasons behind it?
Yeah, not like necessarily. Well, I say not intentionally. I'm sure it is somewhat intentional, but we care less about um a style or like modeling a song after an era and more about writing good songs. And
Okay.
sometimes I will say we when I sit down at a keyboard and I'm like trying to find a sound, I do gravitate toward, that 80s chorusy vintage keys kind of thing. There's something really magical about it. But so maybe, yeah, some of the intentionality of moving away from that is, it's like I don't know. As an indie artist, it's easy to get like pigeonholed or um, tunnel vision for people to be like, oh, Joan, they sound like 80s music or they sound like whatever artists.
Yeah.
So we were like, you know what, for our debut album, do we want that? Do we want to like stamp like our first debut album with like Joan, the 80s band, or do we want to like stretch ourselves and just write great songs and wherever those songs want to land, they land. And so We were less intentional about it for the album in terms of trying to fit an era, and we were more intentional about like writing great songs. And like we wanted to be able to write songs that someone could just take a guitar and like play, and it just makes sense and it sounds like a good song, versus like feeling the need to have some special synth or something that like makes the song. So I'm with you. We definitely have influences from the 80s and 90s, 2000s, and we have intentionally some to some degree tried to move, you know, a little away from that. The beauty of us, I think, is that the next album could totally fall in a different camp and it would still be uniquely Joan. So we'll see. We'll see where we land, you know, as we keep writing. But
Oh, okay. So you're basically you guys value growth between each EPs or each albums and each records that you guys are releasing. It's almost like Radiohead, I guess. Because you can
yeah.
really expect the next thing that they're going to do and the next thing that you guys are going to do. And it basically unintentionally there's like a change, like a slight transition between each sounds. I guess that's what you guys are trying to say. What
Yeah.
about you, Steven?
No.
Yeah, I think that's a very nice way of putting it, Jazz. That's awesome. Yeah, I we've never been afraid of taking it song by song and just like when we go to write a song, just uh sonically serving the song as best as we can, like just whatever that song needs.
Right.
Whether that has a snare drum that comes like used a lot in the 90s, or if it has a guitar sound that was used a lot in the early 2000s,
Yeah.
or if we process drums in a certain way. We kind of we let all of the influences that we had growing up with music and that we still that still influence us
Yeah.
today, like as producers and songwriters, like we let that kind of help us serve the song, like whenever we go to write it and produce it. So that's always been our MO for sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Move to the next question. I also noticed something kind of unique and also funny in a way that once I read it, it made me it made me giggles a little bit. And there's one thing that you say about pop music in which there are a lot of musicians out there who will put another tag or another words following before the word pop itself. As example, like there are many other musicians that would call themselves progressive pop or alternative pop or many other pops, but it seems like you guys don't really care about that, and it seems like you guys are okay with the fact that people can just call you guys a pop band. And what do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah. I find the endless list of genres exhausting. Like
Okay.
I
Okay.
like I
Got
like
it.
hyper pop, progressive pop, indie pop,
Yeah.
alt pop. It's just like I get why people do it because if pop is like this big tree, there's like
Yeah.
all these little branches of individual influences and sounds. I get all that, but I'm like bedroom pop is a great example. Bedroom pop is a very specific like lo-fi bedroom sound,
Yep.
but the name implies that anyone who makes pop out of a bedroom. Well,
Oh, okay. I
this is
see.
this is a bedroom. What Steven is a bedroom. Like so when I start hearing stuff like that, it just my brain's like, this doesn't compute for me. So I'm just
Mm,
like, it's just easier to say we're pop music. And I think for us, pop music is such a wide ranging sound. Like when I was
yeah.
growing up, country music, there was like country songs on pop radio. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman was playing right after like a Nirvana song. And then
Mm,
like after that was like an Amy Grant song. Like it was just like all over the map. And I love that about pop music. I
yeah.
love that it can just be this all-encompassing wide genre. And I think for us, it's like how cool would that be is if we were like we represented that like as a
Mm,
band. Like we have a song that sounds like a Brian Adams song from the 80s, but then the next song we sound like an Oasis song
yeah.
from 2003, and then another song sounds like now. And like, I don't know, I'm more interested in that personally. So yeah,
Uh,
you're right. You're right. I
yeah.
don't care.
How about
So
you, Stephen? Alan said that he don't care. How about you?
yeah, Steven cares so much.
Personally, I care a lot. I think we actually are a great progressive pop band.
Okay,
No,
okay.
I think that nails it on the head. Like, we, it going back to what the last question was. I think a lot of the times we don't care as much about the lane that we're in. We care about the
Mm.
song that we're making, and that can be created in a lot of different ways. So we we like the genre of pop because it keeps it general for us.
Okay, okay, okay. So you basically don't really like to put music into boxes, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you guys
yeah.
aim always to sound diverse and creative for each songs. I mean, I kind of like it, like I agree that the fact that music shouldn't be put into boxes because in a lot of ways, a lot of people will always need to wide references when it comes to music. And moving to the next question, I also
Yeah.
have one thing that I always wanted to ask to everyone basically who had made a lot of musics and songs, recorded a lot, and then releasing something that usually was used to be in your brain and now it's being accepted all across the world. Like you've managed to
mm,
garner million of streams across the world, especially in Indonesia, as Jakarta is one of the top cities when it comes to the streamers for every single songs that you put out. Like how does it feel, to see that something that used to be inside your brain or ten thousands of voice clips or voice memos that you guys have already collected is now being, enjoyed by all around the world. Like, how does it feel?
That's a cool question. Yeah.
yeah. It
It's good.
No, I was just gonna say that. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about music and what we
Mhm.
do. Like it, or just like anybody that creates kind of anything. It's crazy that we can basically take an abstract idea that's just like floating around in our brains,
Mhm.
and me and Alan can put it into a physical thing that you can listen to, and then on top of that, like not even just for us, like we then can release it and share it to the world,
Yeah.
and people all over the world can listen to it. It's an amazing thing that's like I think we take for granted a lot, but also I try I think about that a lot. I'm like it's just wild that we are literally just creating uh like just ideas. It's just
Yeah.
like they're just every day that's our job, is to take a thing that's floating around in our head and put it on paper and like make it, listenable for people.
Yeah.
It's cool.
How about you, Ellen?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's songs and song ideas and lyrics and melodies, these things like seemingly the initial ideas kind of fall out of the sky to some degree. And so the fact that it's like we're just like reaching for ideas and like sometimes they hit and sometimes they don't. And then when they do, we know because it
Yeah.
makes the hair stand up on your arms or it gives you that chill inside. So the fact that we're able to like take that, form it into something that's like you said, just from the brain, just this ethereal,
Mm.
conscious, sometimes subconscious thing, and then someone across the world sing it back to me, like it's pretty wild. Yeah, it's awesome. I love
It's
it.
awesome. It's awesome. Okay, because it's clearly that we're basically running out of time. I would like you guys to just answer one more question. Okay,
Sure.
I want to give you guys a little challenge because you guys just released Superglue, which is your new and latest release. I would like you guys to describe Superglue. If it was a food, what kind of food will it be?
Oh,
Hmm.
well, for
Okay.
me, for me, for me personally, Alan, I love a good baked ziti.
All right,
And
all right.
I had a baked ziti tonight. It's my favorite meal probably of all time. And Super Glue is my favorite song I've ever written. So you can see the
Wow.
correlation there.
There's some connection there. How about you,
Yeah,
That's
Steven?
yeah.
I think super glue to me is a five cheese tortellini with tomato sauce covered in
Mhm.
panko breadcrumbs that have been lightly toasted.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. He said,
just
Wow.
a
he said,
nice.
yeah, 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 lightly toasted. I like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
it's a nice comfort pasta dish to me that I can just I can just keep on eating and I'd never get sick of it.
Okay, so it's clear that I can tell which one is more of someone who always likes food. I guess Steven is a lot more
Apparently he's a
detailed when it
foodie.
comes to explaining the song if it was a
Yeah,
food.
good Lord.
Good Lord. Okay, thank you so much, Steven and Alan. It's been nice talking to you guys. Can't wait to see you guys performing in Jakarta as well. And I
Yeah.
will be seeing you guys around. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Jazz,
Jazz. This is
I would
awesome.